Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are going to look at my top 5 Oracle decks for beginners. But before I tell you what my picks are, and this is just a few of my Oracle decks, then I'll narrow it down to my top 5 for you. I just want to tell you a couple things about Oracle decks. So if you're interested in tarot, that's different than Oracle. Tarot has a set number of cards. Sometimes they'll give you an extra card. It's 78 cards. Oracle decks will have anywhere between, I think I have some that have 28 cards, to really, I have a deck that has a couple expansions and it has over 100 cards in it. So that is something to be aware of, that Oracle decks and tarot decks are different. Tarot decks have a set, the cards mean, even if they're different decks, the cards mean pretty much the same thing. They pretty much have the same kind of suits. They pretty much have the same thing going, same system behind them. And there's other types of decks as well, but I won't get into that. We're just talking about Oracle and Tarot. Now, Oracle decks are really, they can be all over the place. And as you're looking at here, we've got animals, we've got moons, we've got, wisdom, we've got witch decks, we've got angels, or this isn't even an Oracle deck. This is just a deck of cards about the law of attraction. And but I've used it as that. So that's another thing. Like if you have a deck of cards and you feel drawn to it, you can absolutely use it. And these are, this is astrology. This one down here is about witches and goddesses. So, and then this one here is about star seeds. So what is great about Oracle decks is if you are interested in, let's say, angels, there are a ton of angel Oracle decks. If you are interested in the moon or animals or, whatever it is that calls to you, astrology, these are astrology decks. There's an Oracle deck that you can work with, and you can work with it with tarot as well. Let's see, things to consider with Oracle decks. When I'm evaluating an Oracle deck, and I'm evaluating it for you, for ones that I suggest, we need some pretty cards that you like the artwork of, and we need a book, a nice sturdy book. This one is a really great book because it's in color. Not all of them are. Some of the books don't have the card with it. I prefer that they do. So that is what I'm looking for, or what I'm considering when I'm looking at an Oracle deck, and what I'm going to suggest for you. The other thing to look for in an Oracle deck is size. These are usually much bigger than tarot decks. It doesn't bother me. It could bother other people. So there are, this is a pretty hefty size, where something like this Ethereal Orbs Oracle deck is little. So the size of your deck, you might want to actually go to the store and look at it in person, or at least consider the size of the box to see if that deck is really going to work for you. The other reason I would suggest that you go to the store to see it in person is that both in Oracle and Tarot, there is a huge problem with counterfeit decks. And I just want to show you the difference here. This is a counterfeit deck. This is what happens. So they originate on a site like AliExpress, which is out of China, and people will buy them and then resell them. This deck on AliExpress is super cheap, and then somebody will take it and sell it to you for $10 like it's a deal. The difference is, like, look at the difference in size here. Size, quality, the box, and the big difference that you're gonna see is when you look at the back of this deck, it's gonna have a QR code and it's gonna tell you that the guidebook is online. That is a big red flag. And I'm also going to show you the size of these decks compared to the counterfeit deck. The funny thing about this is, see the size difference here? And I have my hair all over the place. Okay. So there's going to be a huge size difference. These cards are not as big, as nice a quality as these cards. They're not going to last as long. They're very flimsy. And then if you start shuffling it, the artwork comes off of it. This is not something that you want. What's funny is this original deck is from Hay House. And other deck other deck publishers have sales as well, but Hay House several times a year does a 50% off sale. So when you buy this one straight from Hay House, the real one, the quality one with the actual book in here, with the actual box, it's about the same size, same price as this if you buy this on sale. So I highly recommend, if you're going to be buying decks, to sign up for to go to investigate. And if the deck is a little bit too expensive for you at the moment, sign up for their emails and find out when they have deals. And you can get this deck for many times less than you can get this cheap counterfeit deck. So those are my tips for you for Oracle decks. And now I am, and I just also want to show you these Doreen Virtue decks. Anything Doreen Virtue, unfortunately, she created a bunch of decks, people loved them, and now she's kind of walked away. She's disowned it. She's disowned her decks. So they're not in print anymore. So if you find these decks, the real ones are going to be like on eBay for like $100. But this one, you can find these kind of at the same place as these counterfeit decks. But I just wanted to let you know about these counterfeit decks and that they're out there, because I've seen them on Etsy. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them even at, I've gone to metaphysical fairs and I've seen these. So the tuck boxes, the smaller size, look at the size in the description. Sometimes they will say the size in centimeters versus inches to kind of throw you off. So check that out. And then this QR code where it says a PDF guidebook or an online guidebook. Those are telltale signs that these are counterfeit decks. So without further ado, let's go into my top 5 picks for Oracle decks for beginners. This is my number 5 deck that I'm going to recommend. This is the Everyday Witch Oracle. There is an Everyday Witch tarot deck. So this is the companion oracle deck to that. The reason I like it is because it matches that tarot deck. I like the artwork. It's a very kind deck. It's very easy to read. It has a book. I told you to look for a book. It has, so the cards are put into suits. So Earth, so it's very similar to tarot in that way. So earth would be pentacles, air would be swords, fire would be wands, and water would be cups. And then you have the cards themselves, or it discusses what the cards mean themselves. The only thing I would fault this on is in the book, it's a little kind of hard to find the cards, the definitions, and just because they don't match with images. So I want to show you what these look like. It has text on the cards, so you know what they are, which a lot of Oracle decks are going to have that. So that's nice. So this is meditation for creativity. It doesn't tell you on the card that this is fire, other than you can get an idea that this is in the fire suit, or gratitude for thanks, that this is in the earth suit, earth, prosperity and abundance, and then strength and resilience, where we get air. So give love here, fire. So so it's not completely on the nose. There's a little bit of you kind of using your intuition to figure out how the cards, what suit the cards are in. So I like that because then you can, start sharpening those skills, or those reading skills. The images are beautiful. They're very inclusive images. We have a lot of different people. We have the masculine and feminine. The Everyday Witch deck itself, the tarot deck, I think it's just mostly females. We have cats on I think on every card. So it is just a very lovely deck. It is a larger deck, and how I would shuffle this is with the side shuffle. So sometimes it's a little harder to handle these larger decks. You can side shuffle it like that, or you can go through it like this to kind of shuffle these, because it's probably going to be too big for you to shuffle it the other way. But this is number 5. My number 4 pick is Spirit of the Animal Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. Colette Baron-Reid does a ton of decks, and they're all very, very good. They have, look at this whopping book here. Very nice book. This is another one of those decks that that there are a lot of counterfeits for. So make sure, because you don't want to get your phone out and try to read a PDF. Like, look at this, it's substantial. Animal oracles, I think, are amazing. If you're drawn to animals, a lot of people, what's great for beginners with an animal oracle deck is, this is the grasshopper spirit. It says, take a leap of faith. And there is a ton of information here, but you don't have to reach for the book every time, because chances are you probably already have an idea about grasshoppers. And you can start reading it in that way. These are also very large cards. I think the artwork is very pretty. The other thing I like about this deck is, yes, a lot of oracles have the keywords, so we know this is the scarab beetle spirit. Magic works through you. So this is great because for a beginner, you can just start reading and you don't have to always go back to the guidebook. You're going to get an idea of what the scarab beetle is and what that means, and the antelope spirit, ant spirit, time to collaborate. Ants work in colonies, they work together, and these are putting pieces together. So it's a really easy deck to read. And I think for beginners, if you're reaching for a book all the time, that gets old. So you want to get off and running. You want to not have to use the training wheels all the time to start reading something. And here we go. So this is my pick for number 4. And again, Colette Baron-Reid. If you are drawn to another one of her decks, they're all very, very good. Okay, I lied about 5. There's going to be more than 5. We'll call this one 4.1. This is the Lover's Oracle. It's 45 heart-shaped guidance cards. The reason I'm including this for a couple of reasons. It doesn't have a book, okay? That's one of my rules, but you know, we need to know the rules so we know when to break them. It doesn't have a book, it doesn't need a book. This is all self-contained. So what's on the card is on the card. The backs of the cards are all different, and it's included here because the subject, Lover's Oracle, one of the top reasons to do any type of card reading is for love. That's something that everybody seems to be really interested in. The shape of these cards are very striking. You can actually shuffle them. I'm going to show you here. You can actually shuffle them. They do work in that way. They're very high quality. I've had these for years. They, you know, I can bend them and shuffle them, and they just look like they're like from day one. So the reason that I think it's a great beginner deck, everything's included right here. It is what it is. It tells you what it is. You don't have to refer back to a book. They're fun to use. They're fun shape. They're beautiful colors. They're great artwork. The subject is perfect. So that's why these guys are included. For my number 3 pick, I am throwing a bit of a curveball. This is the only deck that's not mass produced. It is done by an independent artist. This is a sticky note across here because this is actually in this deck the only risque card there is, and it's up to you to decide how risque it is. It's a naked witch. So this is the Mystic Garbage, an Unusual Oracle. It is done by Junkyard Prince. She is an independent artist. I threw it in here because it has like a great mix of stuff. First of all, you know, it's just different than everything else that I have. It's nice to have something that's independent, and it's also the size of playing cards, so it's a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to pull out a couple of the cards so you get an idea of what it looks like. It has different suits. So it has a suit for the moon, which there's an entire decks that are dedicated to the moon. But this gives you a flavor of a couple different things. So then it has a suit of flowers, a suit for these are goddesses, just to give you an idea of what the artwork looks like. This is a suit for sins, a suit of hands, a suit for words, a suit for magic. So it's like magical beings, like a unicorn. Chakras. So again, there are whole decks dedicated to kind of each one of these things. And this gives you a little flavor of everything. And then this is a suit of guides. So it's different animal guides. And it comes with a book. And it's just it's simple and pretty, and you know, it's not a ton of information on each one of them, but I feel like it gives you a nice flavor of everything. I've used it. It works really well, I think. And you know, it's just nice to throw a little curveball in there, and you can have a deck that works for you if you like this artwork. Plus, you're supporting an independent artist. Not everybody is going to have this, and it definitely has its own kind of a vibe with the Mystic Garbage. She says, just a piece of trash dreaming of becoming a starving artist. So I think there's a lot of people that kind of vibe with the it's fun. It's a fun deck, and it's not meant to be too serious. And it's a little, you know, it kind of makes fun of itself a little bit, but great size. Like I said, it's about the same size as a deck of cards, so it's easy to shuffle. The other thing with it, it has this beautiful edging. So it's a very pretty high quality deck and it's probably the most expensive deck I'm going to show you as well. But again, it's not mass produced. It's done by somebody is striving to be a starving artist. So that is my pick for number 3, Mystic Garbage, an unusual oracle. My pick for number 2, it's kind of a tie. And the reason it's a tie is because I think Queen of the Moon Oracle is my favorite oracle deck ever. But Moonology, but it's a very feminine deck. So I wanted to show you Moonology. Both of them obviously are about the moon. And then Queen of the Moon Oracle, the artwork in it is very similar to my number 1 pick. So I'm gonna give you some options here in the moon deck. It's very surreal art over here in the Queen of the Moon, but this is Waning Gibbous Wisdom. And then for the Moonology deck, it's a little bit more, I would say, if not masculine, at least balanced, where I think that this one's a little bit more feminine. And I want to show a variety of different artwork here because I think picking the right artwork or something that calls to you is really important, because then you're going to use it. You're going to really like it. Let's start with this Moonology here. What I like about this, it's a little bit more detailed, I think, than the Queen of the Moon. Like your commitment is being tested, and this is the first quarter moon. I love this one a lot because if you're into moon phases, it kind of tells you what's going on during those moon phases. This is a full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. And then it has some really detailed descriptions of the moon cards. This book is super easy to follow. There's a lot of text here, but you can go straight to these bullet points and you can access this information really quick. You're not bogged down by the book. It's just easy to use. So it's very, very good. Queen of the Moon, very similar because it is about moon phases other than Queen of the Moon sovereignty. She's her own thing, but this is waning crescent peace, snow moon purity, beaver moon creation. And then, like, if you don't know what the beaver moon is or what that means or when it comes up, what it means, you can come into here and it'll tell you about all of these moons, or in this instance, the waxing gibbous. What I like about this book is it's in color. I am courageous, like that's right out there in the open, really easy to access as for like affirmations that go along with these cards. So full moon power, and it talks about what that means for you. And then a lot of text here on it. It also even has like a companion stone. So if you're into crystals, this is a great deck too. So moon decks. If you do read tarot, one of the things that people want to know with tarot is timing. And tarot is not the best tool for timing of things. These moon decks have been phenomenal. I will use it with my tarot reading, and like cardinal moon comes out or new moon comes out, right? The new moon is in 2 weeks, or when the next new moon is. So you can kind of get a time frame of what's going on. Or the full moon in Gemini. Okay, well by June, we're going to have, these things are going to happen. No, it's not June. Sorry. The full moon in Gemini wouldn't be June. It would be the opposite. But you can look it up and see when the full moon in Gemini is. The new moon in Gemini, it's the whole, see, you need to learn about the moon. I need to learn more about the moon. And working with these decks really, really helps. So my pick for number 2 is a moon deck, and you get to pick which artwork calls to you more, whether that's Moonology Oracle cards or Queen of the Moon Oracle. My number 1 pick for the best beginner oracle decks, Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. I told you she's good. And with the animal oracle decks, like there's several. Just find one that calls to you. But the reason I put this at number 1 is, remember, we have that amazing, amazing book that go along with Colette Baron Reid decks. So great book here, which is one of the big criterias that I'm looking for when I'm recommending a beginner deck. This deck, I don't think there is a tarot channel out there or a card reading channel out there that doesn't use this deck. They all do. All right, maybe not them all, but I see this all over the place. Everybody loves it. The colors are so striking, and then the themes are amazing. It has like serendipity here, and you really get an idea of what this means, you know, that we have luck involved here. The artwork is just amazing. I am a sucker for the surrealist artwork. I will tell you that. You can kind of see that with my Queen of the Moon Oracle suggestion as well. These are also very big cards, so be warned. This is number 1 Yang, and then the book will tell you about that, what that means for you. And you know, the other thing is, it looks like the images are really pretty and clear and crisp, and they look kind of simple, but this isn't one of those decks that as you start noticing things, or as you get better at reading cards, like, it grows with you. So even though it's a great beginner deck, like I said, I don't think there's a channel out there that doesn't have this, that I haven't seen them use this, that isn't a great complement to tarot cards. It grows with you, and it's something that is very accessible. And again, Colette Baron Reid, it's also high, you know, very high quality card. They're glossy, and you know, you can, don't spill anything on this, but I was gonna say you can spill something on this and it seems like it would be fine, but don't spill anything on that. So that is my top 5 decks and all my tips for Oracle decks. Let me know what your favorite is. Let me know what I'm missing. I'm probably missing some angel decks. I just don't have a lot of angel decks. And I don't know why that is. I guess it's just the artwork doesn't call to me, but I know there's some great ones out there. I didn't put any astrology decks here in my beginner decks. All of the astrology decks that I have seem more advanced. So that would be the only reason why. The other deck that I would put in here, sorry, I should have had this ready. I would put this one in here as well. This would be like my bonus deck, Sacred Geometry Oracle, just to give you an idea of, all right, this should have been in here. I don't know why, because there's only 5. I tried to narrow it down to 5. The book on this is amazing. I love this deck so, so much. It is so, so this would be my bonus deck. It has chakras in here, but it has the sacred geometry behind the chakras, the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower as well as our knowing of who we are and our contributions to the whole. So this has like the blurb on it. You can do a reading here without getting out the book, but this book is chock full of great information. This yellow flower of life, the book gets into colors. The book gets into the geometry, what the yellow flower of life is. It will talk this is such a detailed image, you don't even realize it until you start getting into the book. But this would be my bonus deck. as well. So what did I say? 5, and I'm really showing you like 7 decks. So, but this is a really, really great beginner deck. This is probably the biggest one of the ones that I'm showing you, but look how pretty it is. It's so pretty. It's so vivid. It's so bold. And, the other thing I love about this deck, I think a lot of oracle decks and a lot of tarot decks are very feminine. I don't mind that, but not all the time. And this is very neutral. It talks about masculine and feminine. It talks about balancing those things. There's not any images in there to, you know, exclude things. So bonus deck probably should have been my number 1, but you know, it's so hard. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for watching. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what your first deck was, what I'm missing, what I should have considered, and what I should use. So thanks.